Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when balling took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks.
50 Cent just locked his aim on Jim Jones, and this drama's heating up fast. It's starting to feel less like a rap beef and more like a slow-motion heavyweight showdown, and everyone's watching. It all kicked off when Jim Jones sat down with Fat Joe and Jadakiss on their podcast. Instead of showing love to a certified legend, he came out swinging. Out of nowhere, he started tossing lyrical bombs at Nas, and the crowd couldn't believe what they were hearing. Jim didn't just talk slick, he went all in. He claimed he's a better rapper than Nas and said he's done more for the culture than Nas ever could. That's not some small talk. That's a bold, earth-shaking claim that's got the whole hip-hop world buzzing. Fab was shocked. He said it straight up, especially coming from someone who once idolized the very man he's now trying to school. Jim looked dead serious, too. No smiles, no games, just pure ego dripping off every word. And you already know what happens next. 50 Cent caught wind of it. He never lets a single thing slide. So, of course, 50 jumped on his platform and started clowning Jimmy like only he can.
Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing Jimmy talking about, we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store talking about, we Gucci boo boo. The Black King niggas was going fuck you up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
He started mimicking Jim's obsession with hanging out in Gucci stores, saying, Jimmy be in there like, we Gucci boo, acting like he's on some royal Black King energy about to rewrite hip-hop history. But this wasn't some playful jab. 50's tone was sharp, almost surgical. He made it clear he saw right through the performance. In 50's eyes, this wasn't confidence. It was a full-blown puppet show. And the craziest part?
He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally, he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew, I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you got to watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Hey, give me this, get me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy. Yo, but that was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records that where, look, I always said it's just certain artists, I go, damn, when is he going to have his moment? Like,
the strings, he claimed, were allegedly being pulled by none other than Jay-Z himself. See, this is where things start getting real tactical. 50 Cent ain't just roasting for laughs. He's calling out a whole strategy behind the scenes. He's accusing Jim Jones of playing Jay-Z's pawn in some major industry chess match. According to 50, Jay's the one really winning off all this sudden anti-Nas talk. And that's got people raising eyebrows. For years, Jim used to clown Jay. He was beefing with Rockefeller, throwing shade in interviews, dragging Jay's name through the mud. And now suddenly, he's riding for Jay like that's his big bro. That switch up just doesn't sit right. Something about it feels off, like it's all part of a bigger setup. 50 even hinted that this whole thing was one of those throw it out and see who bites kind of moves. And guess what? Jim bit hard, like he'd been starving for a headline.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big
right there.
hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so
well,
to be compared,
let me
that young kid out.
He was young and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
It's like he'd been waiting for this spotlight moment, the one he thought might never come back around. But to really get how wild this situation is, you gotta rewind the whole story. The tension between them didn't start on Fat Joe's podcast. That was just the explosion after years of quiet buildup. This drama's been simmering under the surface for a long time. During the podcast, Joe brought up how some younger fans online were comparing Jim Jones to Nas, saying Jim had more cultural impact and hits with their generation. That was Jim's moment to play it smooth. He could have tipped his hat to a legend, maybe checked the young fans respectfully, and kept it classy. But nah, he didn't take that route. Instead, he leaned all the way in, laughing and saying these new kids don't even know Nas. Then he doubled down, claiming his own influence is way bigger. Fat Joe tried to keep the peace, doing his best to steer things back to neutral. But Jadakiss, man, he just sat there with that classic look, that half smile like he just heard the wildest statement ever, but didn't want to be the one to start a full-blown rap war on air. You could practically see Jadakiss's soul leave his body for a split second after hearing that.
When I know what I mean?
Then Jim started flexing hard, talking about how the younger crowd gets their whole style from him. The BB Simon belts, the Harlem swagger, that signature Dipset drip. He laid it all out like he built the entire aesthetic himself. Jim tried to spin it smooth, saying the new generation vibes with him the same way his generation once vibed with Nas back in the day. He painted it like evolution, like Nas was the idol of his time, and now he's the idol for this new wave. Honestly, if he stopped there, people might have brushed it off as a pride thing, just one generation showing love to the next. But Jim didn't stop, not even close. He went full throttle. He started dropping stats, Billboard entries, Spotify streams, viral hits, top albums, basically acting like he's outrunning Nas in every lane. He made it sound like streaming numbers define greatness, like charts and clicks are the new crowns of hip-hop.
My numbers back up.
Let me step up.
But that's when the internet clapped back, hard. Nas fans came in like a digital army with receipts ready. They pulled up comparisons, dropped stats, posted side-by-side charts, and dragged Jim all over social media for even thinking he could measure up to Nas's legacy. Nas's numbers speak for themselves. The man's got 27 Billboard 200 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 number ones. Meanwhile, Jim's sitting at 9 entries, 3 top 10s, and 0 number ones. Statistically, Nas doesn't just edge him out. He completely outclasses him 10 times over. And that's before you even mention the cultural weight of classics like Illmatic, It Was Written, or Stillmatic. Those albums didn't just sell, they shaped generations.
Put it to you like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been at this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
Y'all
but look
ain't
how you
effing with
dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the
But
things
I-
that we the listen to,
I can be in the church house. You can't F with Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than
It
Nas.
don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody,
all in your, all in your.
So when Jim started flexing with numbers, it didn't just fall flat, it blew up in his face. He tried to use stats to tear down a monument, and all he did was remind everyone how tiny he looked standing next to it. And the wild part? This isn't even new tension. Jim and Nas's history is messy. Back in the early 2000s, Nas publicly called out Dipset, clowning Cameron's Come Home With Me album and basically labeling it trash. Cam wasn't having that. He fired back over Nas's Hate Me Now beat, and that's when a full-blown war erupted. Harlem versus Queens, Pride versus Legacy. The whole culture was watching. For years, Dipset and Nas traded shots through interviews, verses, and subliminals, turning hip-hop into a battlefield. And through all of it, Jim held the line like a soldier, always hyping up Cam, never switching sides, staying loyal to the Dipset cause no matter how hot things got.
But things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that, like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else. Before I heard Jay do it, before I heard anybody else, like he changed the cadence of rap into a whole different steam. Like he's the one that broke the camel's back when it came to artists like, to me, when it came to artists like Big Daddy Kane and all these artists that came right before him. Like after Nas came with that, they started to fade out, and then Jay, Fat Joe, like all of these rappers that are spitting about the life that we was really starting to live right now and how it was changing. Like this is, you know what I mean? So that's how I felt about that whole.
But over time, the energy shifted. As Dipset's shine started to fade, Jim began to slowly pivot, stepping back from those old feuds and inching closer toward Jay-Z's circle. And that's where things got real messy, because Jim didn't just have smoke with Nas, he also had deep, bitter history with Jay-Z himself. Back in the day, Jay used to publicly clown Jim, and their back and forth in the media was nothing short of explosive. The real breaking point came when Jay refused to make Cameron the vice president of Rockefeller. That single move shattered the Harlem Rock relationship. Jim immediately took Cam's side and went after Jay with full force, calling him soft, saying he wasn't really street connected, and accusing him of shutting Harlem out of the rock movement completely. And this wasn't just talk. Things got physical. In 2008, Jim actually got into a fight with one of Jay-Z's close friends inside a Louis Vuitton store in Manhattan. This wasn't some staged rap beef for clicks. This was real tension that spilled out into the streets. Almost a year later, Jim ended up pleading guilty to misdemeanor assault, sealing the fact that this wasn't a PR stunt or publicity grab. That fight made it crystal clear. His beef with Jay wasn't for headlines, it was deeply personal. So fast forward to now, the same guy who once went to war with Jay-Z is suddenly sitting on podcasts, downplaying Nas, and polishing up his own legacy while echoing Jay's whole narrative. It's no wonder 50's out here calling him a puppet. The timing looks way too suspicious. Jim's talking like a man trying to rewrite his chapter in hip-hop history, like he's flipping the script on how people remember him.
That's nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record, then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and like that. If you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones, while Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Right now, 2025, I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap circles around.
Smoke.
Jim Jones is rapping at a high capacity right now in 2025. I'm on record as saying I think some of the best music that's been coming out of New York in recent years has been from Jim Jones. I haven't seen Nas in that mode. Nas still makes great music at a high level. I just haven't seen Nas in that, let's get active, getting at each other mode.
But here's the thing. The receipts don't lie. He wasn't the lone king of Harlem, and he definitely wasn't carrying that torch by himself. Dipset had their era, no question. Ballin' was a monster hit and had the streets lit for a while. But while Jim was still finding his footing, Nas was out there shaping the entire culture, influencing fashion, lyrics, and generations of rappers who came after. And the coldest part? Nas didn't even have to clap back. His silence said everything. The room felt it. That heavy silence that makes people uncomfortable because they know who really holds the crown. Even Jadakiss didn't have to speak. One look on his face said it all. Pure disbelief mixed with that, did he really just say that? Energy. Nas is a certified legend. He doesn't need to argue numbers with Jim Jones, not even a little. That's like Michael Jordan trying to debate stats with the 9th man on the bench. It just doesn't make sense. Everyone knows Nas's name is written in hip-hop history in permanent ink. Even media voices have said it straight up. Jim's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's not even close to the lyrical conversations where the greats get mentioned. So when he starts barking at Nas, it doesn't look like real competition. It looks like somebody yelling from the sidelines just hoping to get noticed. And that's why 50 Cent's move hits different. He's not stirring the pot, just for laughs. He's saying there's a whole industry play going on behind the scenes. 50's hinting that Jay-Z might be quietly pulling the strings, using Jim as a mouthpiece to chip away at Nas's legacy without ever stepping into the ring himself. Then 50 came with that sharp punchline, mocking Jim straight up. You was smoking when you said you better than Nas? Nas was nice when I was in high school.
Jim Jones went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's. Oh, look, a topic in a topic. Yeah. He went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast and had a lot to say about some dude on the internet that said Jim Jones is better than Nas and has more Billboard hits than Nas.
It was a young kid. I believe he was like 23 or something, 22, 23. And he was saying that for his generation, his era, they don't look at Nas. And a lot of people took offense to that. I personally did not take offense just because of the kid's age, of the generation.
It's like a sports conversation. Like the numbers are the numbers. But in New York City with rappers, we don't necessarily go by that.
Yes, Travis Scott is the bigger act, more hits, more numbers, more. But to the rappers, don't nobody give a about what.
That line hit hard, and the internet went wild. It's classic hip-hop power politics in motion. Jim gets his name trending, Jay gets the narrative to shift in his favor, and Nas becomes the center of conversation, all while staying completely silent. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's sitting in the middle, playing the master instigator, poking the bear, fanning the flames, and making sure the whole world's watching every move. Jim didn't back down either. He doubled down hard. He straight up said, if Nas wants smoke, he should step in the booth. He's now positioning himself as one of New York's most active rappers in 2025, claiming he's rapping at a higher level than Nas right now. Some people gave him props for his grind and recent releases, sure, but let's be honest, Nas has been on fire. He's been dropping King's Disease, Magic, and working with Hit Boy like a man in his second prime. So yeah, Jim's statement might sound bold, but when you zoom out, it's like he's throwing punches at a wall that's not even paying attention.
How about that Jim Jones, man? Hip-hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like, Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. Oh my God. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you want to be like the 9th guy on the...
The contrast is wild. Nas moves like a legend with nothing to prove, while Jim's out here chasing ghosts just to stay in the spotlight. And the irony? It's almost poetic in a twisted way. After all that beef, all those disses, and years of throwing shots at Jay, Jim ended up circling right back to the same man. The same Jay-Z he once fought against became the one he leaned toward when his career started fading. That's the part that makes people side-eye Jim. His loyalty seems to shift with the wind. One minute he's at war, the next he's waving the flag. So when he starts slandering Nas out of nowhere, it doesn't sound real. It sounds strategic, like he's trying to buy relevance. It's almost like Jim's allergic to loyalty, forever jumping sides whenever the spotlight starts to dim. No matter how many crews Jim links up with or how many new alliances he forms, he always seems to flip the script whenever it benefits him. And that right there, that's exactly why 50 Cent's never respected him. In 50's eyes, loyalty is everything, and Jim's track record screams louder than any verse he's ever dropped. Every time things get rough, he finds a new side to stand on.
From whatever you painted the picture to be, to me to being a hype man, or he wasn't the best rapper, or he just started to get whatever you want to narrative you want to paint, you still got to listen to me talking to you right now in 2025. What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing when him and Jay was...
But Jim tried to twist the story in interviews, puffing up his chest and talking big. He said, I'm still here from whatever picture you painted of me. Hype man, not the best rapper. Late bloomer, whatever narrative you want. You still gotta listen to me talking to you in 2025. Then he took it a step further, claiming, what I did for Nas has probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been this viral ever. To his credit, the buzz around those comments did light up the internet. Social media went crazy. Clips, memes, debates, the whole thing caught fire. But let's keep it real. That attention wasn't built on bars or music. It was pure drama, fueled by controversy, not creativity. And the last time Nas got dragged into a circus like this? You gotta go all the way back to 2007. The height of the G-Unit vs. Dipset war, when diss tracks were flying and New York was split right down the middle. It's wild how history keeps looping back and Jim keeps finding himself in the center of chaos, just chasing noise instead of legacy. That moment right there showed everyone exactly what kind of moves Jim's willing to make when the spotlight's on the line.
Was it in the ad?
Right.
Because of Jay-Z and them was putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori he had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. He said, to Jay, he was telling me, you know, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50.
I hit the homie, the big homie Jay-Z, right? And I told him to come pull up on me. And he pulled up on me and he said, the white guy called for 50 Cent. So I said, who's the white guy? I'm digging this Jimmy Iovine. And he said, no, Eminem called directly for 50. And he said,
that's his guy.
He said, I can't do it if I can't bring 50 up.
But that's his guy.
Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so you image yourself after a gay painter. The big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they're Harper, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire...
In one of the wildest twists, he popped up at a G-Unit event after 50 Cent personally invited him. And for a second, the crowd thought something big was going down. People started whispering about possible deals, new alliances, maybe even a reunion move. But nope, 50 wasn't recruiting. He was exposing. He brought Jim on stage not to sign him, but to prove a point to Cameron and the whole industry. He wanted to show everyone that Jim would do anything just for a little shine. No paperwork, no contracts, no power play, just a cold, calculated checkmate. Jim stood there looking like a pawn while 50 smiled like the king who just set the perfect trap. From that day on, 50 didn't see him as competition. He saw him as weak, a man without a code or backbone. Fast forward to now, 50 and Jay-Z have been locked in a quiet, behind-the-scenes Cold War for years, both playing chess at the highest level. So when Jim ran back to Jay for a lifeline, that was it. He crossed enemy lines completely. The second that Roc Nation deal got inked, everything changed. The air got thick, the alliance was loud, and the betrayal was even louder. Later, 50 opened up about how deep that tension really runs. When Jay and the NFL were putting together that iconic Super Bowl halftime show, 50's name was mysteriously missing from the first promo ad. He said, I wasn't in the ad because Jay-Z and them were putting it together. I think they still harbor some energy toward me. Then 50 broke down what really happened, how Eminem personally made the call and told Jay straight up that he wouldn't perform without 50 there. The white guy called for 50, Jay told NORE.
Yep.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was...
That line alone sent shockwaves across the culture. It showed just how much quiet power was moving behind the scenes. That's his guy. And that's the real difference between loyalty and convenience. When things got serious, Eminem rode for 50 without hesitation. That's loyalty in its purest form. Meanwhile, Jim's out here jumping between rivals, switching sides like it's a sport, chasing whatever alliance keeps his name buzzing in the headlines. Not long after that Super Bowl moment, Jim suddenly started taking slick little shots at Nas. Coincidence? 50 doesn't believe that for a second. In his eyes, Jay's been quietly itching to stir that old Nas rivalry back up. But this time, he's keeping his hands clean. Instead of jumping in himself, he's letting Jim do the dirty work. That's classic Jay. Move in silence. Let someone else take the heat, then collect the win once the smoke clears. When 50 caught wind of this new Jay and Jim alliance, he didn't hold back for a second. He ran straight to Instagram like a man grabbing popcorn at the front row of a live show. Memes, captions, throwback clips. 50 pulled out everything. He clowned Jim for selling out and switching sides like a desperate free agent just trying to stay signed. He even called Jim the industry's favorite puppet, hinting that Jay was behind the scenes pulling the strings while pretending to be above the mess. And make no mistake, 50 wasn't just trolling for laughs this time. He was serious. He's been calling out Jay's quiet power moves for years, warning people about how Jay plays chess while everyone else is playing checkers. To 50, this whole situation is just another example. Jay moving the pieces, Jim doing the heavy lifting, and Jay standing back with that calm grin, acting like he's untouchable. The internet jumped all over it too. Fans started digging up old interviews where Jim was gushing about Nas, calling him one of the greatest ever, and giving him full credit as a major inspiration. The flip-flop was so wild, people couldn't believe how fast loyalty vanished when the cameras turned on. Those old clips spread through the internet like wildfire. Suddenly, the same guy who once said Nas shaped his hustle was now talking like Nas was beneath him, and people weren't having any of it. Memes started flooding timelines, painting Jim as two-faced, switching sides depending on the room he's in. And Nas, he didn't even blink. That's what really stings for Jim. Nas just kept moving in silence, dropping timeless albums, collecting Grammys, and walking like a legend who's got nothing left to prove. Meanwhile, Jim's out here chasing clout battles like a rookie trying to get noticed. And 50? Oh, he's loving every second of it. He's been throwing darts at Jim whenever he gets the chance. Sometimes slick, sometimes straight up, but always sharp enough to draw blood. 50 even said flat out that Jim's the type to diss just to impress his boss. And fans couldn't help but nod because it fit. Then whispers started swirling online. Rumors that Roc Nation's PR team might have actually pushed Jim to stir things up with Nas for buzz. That's when the conspiracy flames really exploded. Because when you think about it, controversy equals clicks. And nobody in this business plays the PR chess game better than Jay-Z. If 50's theory holds any truth, then Jim's not out here playing chess. He is the chess piece. A pawn on a board being moved for someone else's benefit. And a disposable one at that. And 50 being 50, he didn't just talk about it. He started dropping stories. He allegedly leaked tales of Jim begging for features, chasing industry meetings, and getting curved by heavy hitters who never truly respected him. Piece by piece, 50's been peeling away that tough Harlem image Jim built, exposing what he sees as the truth, a man desperate to stay in rooms that never really wanted him there in the first place. What started as a few wild comments about Nas has now exploded into a full-blown war of pride, legacy, and power, a tangled mess of egos and reputation all colliding in real time. Jim's out here fighting to prove he belongs in the same sentence as legends, but every move he makes just hands 50 another reason to drag him and Jay right back into the fire. And 50, he's sitting back, watching it all unfold like a chess grandmaster who already knows how the game ends. Jay's entire career has been built on control. From borrowing Biggie's blueprint, to freezing out Dame Dash, to keeping Cameron from shining too bright. He's mastered the art of silent dominance, playing puppet master while keeping his own hands spotless. And now, with Jim stirring up chaos in public, Jay doesn't even need to open his mouth. He's letting others take the hits while he stays calm, polished, and untouchable. It's cold, it's ruthless, but honestly, it's genius. That's exactly why 50 doesn't rock with either of them, because he moves off loyalty, not politics. Eminem stood by him when it mattered most, and that bond runs deep to this day. When Jay tried to block him from the Super Bowl stage, M didn't even hesitate. He risked the biggest moment in entertainment just to make sure his friend was standing next to him. That's loyalty that money can't buy. At the end of the day, streams fade, trends disappear, and hype burns out. But respect lasts forever. Jim might be making noise in 2025, but let's be real. He's shouting from a stage that Nas built brick by brick. You can't troll your way into greatness. You earn it through consistency, impact, and legacy. So now the question is, whose side are you on in this crazy hip-hop saga? Team 50? Team Nas? Or do you think Jim's really standing on business this time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to Fame Czar, because trust me, this story, it's far from over.